like we die in the winter to live in the summer.
A merry little Christmas night. And have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I got a lot of questions about people moving to Chicago during my Chicago apartment hunting vlog, and a lot of people were just asking me about apartments and like neighborhoods, so I kind of just wanted to make this video in my opinion, like my pros and cons of living in Chicago. I have my little list on my phone here, and I'm just gonna get started. So to start off, I kind of want to give like a backstory of how I moved to Chicago, which is kind of different than how I feel people are moving to Chicago now. So in 2014, I graduated high school and I decided along with my sister to move to Chicago. So I've been here for like 6 or 7 years now, which has been a while, and I've kind of got the feel like, although I didn't have to move here and like have to make friends, like it was easier to make friends because I was in college and a bunch of people moved to Chicago during that time, so we were all like in this together. But yeah, so I've been here for 6 or 7 years and it's been a good experience. It's been a great experience. Like I was literally talking to my friend last night and I was telling him that Chicago has my heart. Like it's literally like home to me, but then I'm feeling like it's like home to me, if that makes sense. But enough of that, let's get into these pros and cons. So to start off, pro number one, I said that the transit system is amazing. So for those that haven't been to Chicago, I believe next to New York, Chicago has the #1 transit system, and I think that that's awesome. I recently just bought a car this year, but for the last 5-6 years I didn't have a car, and I got around well. I got around super well. There's a bus that literally comes right outside my house. There's another bus that takes me directly to the train. The train drops me off right in front of work, or there's another bus that can take me to my other job. But other than that, the transit system is A1. Or, you know, there's also Lyft and Uber, but the transit system is good and it's cheap, and they've updated it so now you can like pay with your phone. You don't need to actually have your venture card, and it's great. So yeah, I was saying that the transit system is great. Like you don't need a car. You really don't need a car. Only if you want a car. Other than that, I say like for groceries or stuff like that, that's what you would really need a car for, just because you have to like, you'd have to lug a bunch of groceries. Other than that, you don't. Okay, so my first con, it's really expensive to live here, and I knew that before, but I never really knew that until now, when I'm actually like doing apartment hunting and I'm like trying to live on my own and I'm trying to find a place that meets all of my like needs, my criteria and all of that. So currently I live in a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath apartment, but I do have 2 other roommates, and we pay like $500 a month each, which is nothing, especially for the amount of space that we have. We each have our own room. Well, you guys see my room tour. It's like pretty big. I have really big windows, and it's in a really great neighborhood, but the only downside is that it's not renovated. So that comes with that. The apartment that we looked at in our apartment hunting vlog was $1,850, I believe, and that was for 2-bedroom, 1 bath, but it didn't have like in-unit washer and dryer. The apartment was just not that great to me, but that's just another con. It's really expensive to live here. I guess it's expensive to live here when you have a certain way of living that you want to live, if that makes sense, because at the end of our lease, we could just stay here just because we're saving money, blah blah blah. But no, as we're getting older, you know, we want more, we want better. So yeah, it's kind of expensive living here. Pro number 2. Summertime is the best time. I mean, y'all heard Kanye say it best. Summertime shy. The summertime is so much fun. Like, I was talking to my cousin and I was like, we die in the winter to live in the summer. Because, and that's like my second con. That's my second con. It's so cold. It's so cold. But I think that I've gotten so used to it that I'm like, you know, I'm going to thug it out this winter because I know in the summer it's going to be so much fun. Like, you have Lollapalooza, you have Wickerfest, you have, what is it called? The Taste of Chicago, you have the Brewfest, you have the Silver Room Block Party, which is like best. The block party is best. Okay, I'm so sad we couldn't do it this year, but just like those couple events that you just live for in the summer, it just is like, okay. And even in the winter too, there's also like some fun things in the winter too. You just have to search for them, but there's like Navy Pier or ice skating, or sometimes people that you know may have like little small events. Obviously not now because of COVID, but overall, pro, Chicago is just fun in the summer. Con, you have to die in the winter to make it to that summer. Yeah, you just have to die. Like, you gotta be cold and you gotta be freezing, and that's it. So our next pro is that Chicago is super diverse, but that also has a con to it. To touch back on like how summertime you can just do whatever, you can also just go to different neighborhoods and experience different cultures. Like, obviously the South Side, you have a bunch of black people and you can get some good soul food, or not even good soul food, but just good anything. Or you have Chinatown where you can get some nice Asian inspired. Then you have like Greek Town, you got Pilsen, which is like predominantly Mexican Latinx, or you can get like some good tacos and things like that. Up north you'll have like a variety of everything, just like maybe some soul food, some Asian, some Latinx inspired. But on the downside to that, it makes Chicago extremely segregated. Like I said, like on the south side you have black people, or on the west side you got black people, up north you have white people, and then Chinatown you have mostly Asian people. So that's a downside to it, is while it's so diverse, it's also super segregated too. Okay, so my next con with Chicago, and this is for people who are going to college or even going to grad school or starting college. There is no like major HBCU here like there is in Atlanta, or like there is in DC. Like, you got DC, you have Howard. Atlanta, you have Morehouse and Spelman. There, I mean, we do have Chicago State, but it's not like a predominant, like it's not one of those top HBCUs that you think of. And honestly, I don't think people, when they think of Chicago, they don't think I'm going to Chicago for college. It's mostly a city that people decide to move to once they're out of college, because it's like good for young professionals. So that is a con, that there's no major college that people are like gravitated towards to come to Chicago. But it's also a pro, that a lot of people want to move here once they're out of college because it's good for young adults. So a next pro is that Chicago is a major city, but without the crowding of New York, which I love. So I love New York. That's like one of my top cities. Like, I've always had fun when I went there, but it's always just so crowded. There's so many people, and while there is a lot of people in Chicago, Chicago's also bigger than New York, I think. Yeah, I think Chicago's bigger than New York, so it's a little more spread out. So we have a little bit more room. Like, we're not on top of each other 24/7. And that's like a pro. That's a pro to me, because listen, I can't be in New York and I'm trying to sleep and my neighbor's doing the most at 3 in the morning. Another pro that I have is, as far as COVID goes, I believe that Chicago has been a pioneer in innovation in how to keep the city running despite the COVID issues. And let me elaborate. Now that it's cold, Chicago is like, okay, while we're shutting inside restaurants down, we're going to give more money to smaller businesses so that they can create like the little bubbles so that people can still eat out and still have an experience, and the small businesses aren't losing out on money, and also it's not completely stripping the consumer away from the fun that we would typically have, if that makes sense. My last con, and then I have one more pro. My last con is that the violence. I cannot not talk to this video without talking about the violence that's in Chicago. Wow, thank the Lord, I've personally like never been like shot or robbed or anything like that, which I'm totally thankful for. It's an issue. Like, it's an issue. I've known people whose sexual assault has happened to them, robbed, people who've been killed, people who've been shot at. And while I know that that's a thing in every city, it's just that like with Chicago, it's playing Russian roulette. Like, you can be in the nicest neighborhood and something bad will still happen. And that's like kind of scary, but I think that it's kind of made me a little tough and definitely more aware of my surroundings and more aware of, you know, everybody and everything, which is a good thing because, you know, I needed that. Like, for example, my freshman year of college, I remember going into a party and they started shooting outside the party, and the man to let us into the party was like, okay, everybody come in, but he was making us pay him $5 to save our lives. Listen, yeah, that's the unfortunate side of it. Other than that, my last pro is there's always something to do. There is always something to do in Chicago, like always. We can go ice skating. There's a couple rooftop bars open. If you want to freeze to death, you can go do that. But I think that that's the upside about Chicago. Like, while violence is bad, it's still such a great city. Overall, Chicago has my heart. It is my home. I love it. It's a city that taught me everything I know. Seriously. Next year will officially be seven years since I've been here. Wow, that's crazy. And then 3 more years, I would have lived here for 10 years. That's crazy. I'm like from here now. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to ask me any more questions that you have about Chicago. Let me know if you're moving here, because I'd love to give you some advice, or, you know, just let you know some places or like events and things that I hear of. See you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I will see you guys in my next video.